Hello, everyone. Karen Glasser here, and welcome to Minding Your Mental Health. I'm here with my co host, Rob Glasser. I always get that messed up. And my son. He happens to be my son. So I call him son. You call him whatever. We talk about the topics that shape mental health today. We're teaching the importance of inclusion and share why we should be kind. Like we need an explanation for that. I don't know. So whether you're here live or on replay, let us know where you're tuning in from. Just say hello. We'd love to hear from you. So today, Rob, we're talking about giving thanks. A perfect week for that, right? It's Thanksgiving. So we're just going to jump right in about giving thanks. So take it away.
All right, if you insist. Okay, our first question that we decided to ask ourselves is, what is gratitude? Because giving thanks is, I guess, similar. So verywellmind.com, one of my apparently favorite places because everything seems to come from them. But hey, they're a great site. They have a lot of good information, blogs, phone numbers as well. They wrote an article about what it is. So they wrote down, gratitude is a positive emotion that involves being thankful and appreciated and is usually associated with several mental and physical health benefits. When you experience gratitude, you feel grateful for something or someone and respond with feelings of things like kindness, warmth, and other forms of generosity. Basically, in general terms, according to scientists, something good happens to you, something you recognize well, and that continuously or should continuously give you the gracious feeling. Mm-hmm. Now, interesting enough, and this is the part I love, this has been going on for decades, millennium actually. Back in ancient times, religious scholars and philosophers were always into studying this. However, not until the 50s did anybody actually sit and write it down in a book. That's when psychologists and sociologists began to actually examine what gratitude does to groups and individuals. Right. But I'm never shocked. I mean, we all think that ancient people did nothing, but honestly, they did much more than, if it wasn't for them, we really wouldn't,
And we talk a lot about the whole happiness thing versus gratitude or being grateful. So, I think that when we talk about being grateful or having gratitude, it does eventually make us feel happy or what we define as happy, right? So what are they telling us to do?
Okay, well, first off, they have some signs of it. A few signs of it. Spending a few moments thinking about things that you're grateful for. Stopping to observe and acknowledge the beauty of wonder in something that you encounter in a daily life. Being thankful for things like your health, thanking for positive influence, or thanking someone for a kind deed. And then generally, things like prayer, meditation, right, and paying attention to the little things, as they call it. Right. How do you measure it? And this kind of goes into what you're saying. So there's a few questions that you ask yourself. Do you feel you have a lot to be thankful for? If you made a list of those things, how long would it be? When you look at the world, can you find things that, again, you feel gracious about? Do you feel appreciation for your life? Do you frequently experience these moments? And lastly, do you appreciate a wide variety of people as well? Right. They say that if you answered yes to all or most, then gratitude might be in the DNA. And that goes into the 3 types. Affective, which is a trait, which means that 9 times out of 10, the person is just overall grateful. No necessity whatsoever. Right. Most likely that they just have that feeling of, okay, cool. It can also be a mood, which will fluctuate, but that usually is a period of time, or as an emotion, which is a brief moment, not as long as a period of time, but a momentary judgment call, I guess. So what does all that mean as far as practicing? Well, again, they have quite a few, actually not that many. We'll go through them. Observing the moments. So this is free. You look out your window, you look at the birds, you're observing. That's it. Right. No rhyme or reason. Right. No necessary items. You're just observing. Number 2, something you would do, writing down. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be nonsense to anything. It could just be a bunch of words. But You're writing something down that in some fashion is grateful for you or to
Because
you.
it's what you put out is what comes back to you. If you put out you're grateful, you're going to get that back to you, gratitude back.
Yeah. And while observing the moment, savor, just like you would do with a food or maybe a game. Savor the moment you're in. So
Mhm.
as well as watching what you're watching or seeing what you're seeing, get into it for a minute. Pretend like you are the bird. Pretend like you are outside flying through the whatever. Savor the moment that you're in. Create rituals that'll make you feel good, whether it's prayer, mantras, or other. Do something that continuously brings it back in. And lastly, and exactly what our title is called, give thanks.
Right.
As a person who is more religious now than was, I thank God daily for what I have. I thankful for waking up, for breathing, for health, for all of that. It's not necessarily anything in particular other than I just want to give the feeling to
Right.
the source of whatever that I'm thankful for. And
Right.
of course, I do it to you, to Krista, to others as well who mean much. And you just do it. You. There's no particular necessity or reason to do it. It's just something that you do
Yeah.
to let you flow. You do it because you want to and because you feel good afterwards.
It's fascinating to me that a lot of people struggle with this concept. They can, oh, I can meditate, I'm mindful, but when you say, what are you grateful for? Literally, people will sit there and go, I don't know. And when I will suggest to someone, well, write 3 things down that you're grateful for. It doesn't matter what it is, but I will sometimes get back a lot of times. Well, what if it's I can't think of anything other than I'm grateful for my house and I'm grateful for the food I eat and I'm grateful for my puppy. So put that down every single day because eventually, as you sit in that gratitude, I believe, and I think the studies show, as you sit in gratitude, you're going to start thinking about other things. You mentioned Rob being outside, just seeing the birds. When I take our dog for a walk, I really make an effort to look around, to breathe deep, to see the birds, hopefully, to see the trees swaying. I want to be in the moment, and it doesn't always work. And I think the message that I want to give everyone at this moment is that figure out what works for you and do that. Do that.
Sure. And I'll go back to my favorite man of the universe, the Dalai Lama, and
Right?
all those other who practice Buddhism. And
Right.
the other one, I forgot what it is off the top of my head, but it's the same thing. It's not a matter of what you're doing, it's why and how. If you're
Right.
doing it to your full extent, if you're doing it for more or less a good reason,
Right.
that's the gratitude. There's no need to put anything else into it. It's just you know, and this go and they actually have a list of things that help: better sleep, better immunity, higher self-esteem, decreased stress, lower blood pressure, less anxiety and depression, stronger relationships, and what do you know, higher levels of optimism, because you already
Imagine
have it,
that.
so why the hell not, right?
Right.
It goes into more, and I'm going to go to the next one in a second because the next one kind of it goes into it, but they go into some ways to do it. But before we go into some exercises, we thought of the difference between the two because, as you mentioned, the word thankful, or thanks, and the word grateful. I guess there is no noun for grateful. Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Thanks and gratitude
Right.
is there's a difference. So Life, I actually didn't realize where this came from, but it's a chiropractic company, which I thought was actually really funny just now. So they wrote down the difference between the two and why you need both. So the textbook definition, according to them, of thankful is being conscious of benefits received.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
So being aware of what you're getting. The person receiving the benefits has awareness of a beneficial gesture and responds as related. Often it's automatic, like saying thank you, giving a hug. I added that one. Or just a smile, because,
Right.
sometimes you don't know what to say. You smile because you're there.
Right.
Thankfulness is often tied to politeness because it's something upbringing. So thankful is something that parents teach.
Is it a
Thankful is
response?
not.
It's a
Huh?
response, right? Being thankful
Yeah,
is a
thankful is
response.
something that
Somebody
is
gives you
taught to.
something, you say thank you.
Yes, it is not something that really is a emotion per se. It is something that usually the family teaches. You can do it in all forms, whether it's face to face, whether it's in an email, or even in a phone call. You are taught how to end, start, and respond.
Right.
Thankfulness, they say, is usually something that lasts for a short moment. Again, it could be longer, depends how you use it. Now, the definition of grateful for them, according to the dictionary, is having a sense of thankfulness that comes from within rather than the normal response. Being grateful or having gratitude can be directed not only at people, but things that you feel have been of great assistance. A good example with Skeeter as a quote, my emotional support dog. You don't realize it till you need him.
Right.
How important he is. Now, of course, he's my dog. I've always loved him. It's not that hasn't changed.
Right.
But realizing how much support he gives without really actually expecting anything, and that's like the thing. Dogs don't expect anything back.
Right.
It's like it's the better than it. I think it's a Mark Twain quote. The more I know people, the more I love my dog.
So, could we make an example of if somebody gives you a gift? A thing, an actual gift, like here's a book, and you say thank you, and it's in the moment, you're appreciative that you received this gift. But being grateful is taking it one step further and saying, I'm really grateful, or I have gratitude that I have people in my life that think about me when they're in a bookstore and they saw something that I may like.
Well, the example here, actually, it sounds kind of funny, but the more I read it, it makes sense. You can be grateful for having your car that got you to and from your college in order for you to get your degree. And at first I read that, I think that's kind of silly. But then I thought, wait, you actually can be grateful for the transportation because without it, you would not have been able to get to school to get that degree for your job. So it's something as even, I'm going more simple than what you said, just even a more simple of you look at the thing or the things or the person or whatever, and it's just the one moment that then fixes the entire thing of what goes forward. So it's a silly example, but the more I read it in my mind, it makes more sense than any other example I can think of because that literally is the one thing that got you to the goal. And you now have your degree, you now have a job, you now have money, you can now buy a house, you can have whatever. You literally now have your life. So yes, grateful is the idea of whatever it is, whoever it is, whatever the idea is, of it sinks in so much that you will always remember that one time that whatever happened, and because of that, everything flowed.
And then you can write it down in your gratitude journal,
exactly.
right?
So they end with why are both worthwhile. So it's not wrong to be thankful and express it. They say random acts of kindness as well as intentional acts occur every day. And it's important to express thanks, not only because it's the polite thing to do, but also because it gives you a positive feeling. So even though thankfulness is taught, it does become a thing that you do because, you just do it because it is. So yes, there is a difference, they say, and it's fine to be thankful, but they actually feel to go on to gratitude more while not forgetting what it means to be thankful for something. So using, and the car example, be thankful for having it, but then be grateful for what that transportation got you in the long run.
There you go.
And
there you go.
You move it together. And so it really, it is a weird, concept, and I get how some people don't get it, but it is, I guess it's each their own person.
Right. But it makes sense it makes sense the differences between the two, but they all do eventually one begets the other and vice versa. And I think I like that as an example. Yep.
All right. So why don't we end with some simple exercises that INC says even the most pessimistic person will become happier with these. So, and most of these are kind of abstract, so bear with us as we go. Number 1, identify 3 things that you feel grateful for and appreciate. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to say anything. Just think of 3 things.
Right.
Wife, health, pets. Boom. I can keep going. I would say, house. I would say having transport, But yeah, just think of 3 things.
Right.
That's it. Number 2, identify things that you take for granted, but you're actually very thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
So the phrase using your resources is how I like to put it, is a much kinder way of saying. So for instance, when you knew somebody that was in the niche that I needed, I would use that resource to help. It's not taking advantage of it, it's using the resource that I have. Does all the resources come through? Doesn't really matter. But it's things that somebody might portray as you might be taking advantage of, but you're actually thankful that that person or that thing is available
And
to you.
grateful. And grateful.
Exactly. Number 3, identify 3 things you appreciate about you.
That's so important. People
So
forget that.
important for those with ADD who don't know what to do, or for those with anxiety who just don't have a happy thought most of the time. It could be hard, but really, again, it doesn't have to be anything more than I'm breathing, I'm moving, and I can do my videos.
There you go.
I appreciate those things.
Right.
And they can change. They can stay the same, like you mentioned at the beginning. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just things that you appreciate about you.
Right.
Exactly. And I think we talked about other videos that the more you do it, the more you're going to find, and you're going to end up with a list of 1,000 things because you just keep on.
Right.
Number 4, identify 3 things. I see there's a theme here. It's the number 3 that you feel grateful for about your present right now experience. These guys must have watched our videos because the importance of now in your present. So 3 things. Now, like example, the chair under your legs. I am thankful for it. Without the chair, I'd be really uncomfortable and I'd be on the floor.
Right.
But think about things that you're happy about right here, right now. Boom.
So I'm happy that my internet is working because it wasn't this morning. I am very thankful that the internet is working. I am thankful that I get to do this with you. So, and I say this all the time, that I don't know if it's a grateful thing or it's a thankful thing. I don't know how I would define it, but I was thankful in the beginning, and now I just have a lot of gratitude that we continue to do this. So that's my number 2. And my number 3 is I am grateful that your father is getting better. And I am very thankful for that. What would be one of the things that you're either grateful or thankful for in the present moment right now?
Well, that I am healthy, that I have the, Krista in my life, and the pets.
The pets.
I don't know. A lot of them are the same, but hey, that's okay.
It's okay.
Number 5, identify 3 people who had a significant and positive experience in your life. Mm-hmm. They say it could be anything from a coach or a mentor to your boss, family member, or just the person at the supermarket who bags your groceries. Again, doesn't matter what they did, who they are. You may never see them again, but if they had a positive experience, identify them.
Right.
All right, a couple more here. Create a thank you message to those 3. So again, if it's somebody you see regularly, send them an email, call them, say hello. If it's somebody you'll never see again, actually, I think it's funny because I think I've seen people walk into grocery stores and give like a holiday card to somebody and be like, can you make sure this person, because it's always their teller, or it's all, or no, it's the bank. And they're like, can you make sure this teller gets this because she's always my teller?
Well, it's that time of year, right? It's that time of year. And I actually have trouble with the whole idea that it's that time of the year. Somehow we're supposed to save all our thanks for this week, right? And even if it's putting a smile on your face, I always ask, no matter where I am, in the checkout stand or if I'm going for fast food, I always ask the person that's helping me, how are you today? How's your day going? And that, because I'm thankful that they're there taking care of me right that moment. And I'm always fascinated that they always have one of 2 reactions: shock that somebody actually asked how their day was, or thank you, my day is going well, how are you? And so now it's reciprocal, right? And I believe it feels better to give than to receive. But when you get both at the same time, how cool is that?
There you go. The last one on the list here is, of your entire list, pick the one thing you are most appreciative of and feel it in your heart. This one I would say give yourself time to decide, because you probably have written down a list of 30, 50, 100 things. Pick the one thing you are most appreciative of. And throughout the year, or maybe it changes month to month, whatever, you focus on that thing. It's like when I had we took it down because we're moving, but I had, the word focus on my wall. with a Pokemon next to it, of course.
Of course.
Because it was just the word. But you look at the word focus and you think, what am I focusing on? What is the thing to do? So focus on the one thing you're most appreciative of. Maybe if it's an over slew of everything, maybe it's just like generally life is what you appreciate. I would say life. I'd say appreciative life. Ability of everything that I can do in my day to day. I'm most appreciative of generally. But it's pretty cool. If you guys want to check it out, the link is up there. Maybe it's something you want to print out, put it on your wall. They're all very, you don't even really need any utensils for it. I mean, if you want to write them down, you can, but really it's just a matter of looking at them and thinking and just.
Or put them on your screensaver, literally on your computer. I always put stuff. Right now, I have something that says integrity is everything. Because that's a really important thing in my life, and I like it, and I'm thankful when I see it in others. So that's the word that I'm looking at. Rob, we have some really cool swag, right? We are encouraging people always. So they should go over to thealtereduniverse.live/shop. In addition to the journals, The Importance of Now, Find Your Passion, Love Yourself, all the things we're literally just talking about. There's all sorts of other things, T-shirts and water bottles, and what else is there, Rob?
We got hoodies. We have an apron for the chef in the house. And we're going to have so many more things to come as well. So keep on clicking on the link and you'll probably see something new in the next week or so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, we tell you every single week, we also have our free ebook, our passion ebook. It's free, guys. Go figure out how to find your passion and to be grateful and thankful for what you have. Go to mindingyourmentalhealth.com and you'll find it there. As we do every single week, we talk about the different organizations. If you are feeling right now that you need some assistance, some support, or you're being triggered, you want to go check out some of these resources, nimh.nih.gov. It's the governmental body, also NAMI.org. All of these organizations will help you. And finally, if you are suffering right now and you need some help, don't wait. There are people out there that want to hear you and want to listen to you and can help you. Dial 988 and you will be sent to the person or persons that you need. So you're listening to Minding Your Mental Health today with Rob and I. I hope that you've enjoyed the show. Any last minute thoughts, Rob, that you want to share?
No, go out and be grateful for everything. Grateful.
Absolutely. Well, I give thanks for all of this. Go out, give somebody an awesome day. We'll see you next time on Minding Your Mental Health. Goodbye, everyone.